Okay, I thought the game was won at the line of scrimmage today. Anytime that you can go into a game and almost rush for 300 and limit those guys to about 75 yards, it was a great job by our offensive and defensive linemen. And then if you look at the plus minus when it comes to sacks, which obviously are our explosive momentum plays, we were able to have 7 sacks and they didn't have any. So I think that's really where the story of the day is up front, and then in terms of the defense. If you allow somebody not to get in your end zone, you're going to win a lot of games. And that's an explosive offense. They put up some big numbers this year. Great receiver, some great backs, and a quarterback that has made it a lot of plays on the run. So at the end of the day, I'd say that we are extremely proud of our players. After last week, none of us were happy about that, and throughout the week, I really thought that a lot of people trying to get in, tear them apart, and I thought they did a great job of preparing and staying focused and practicing really hard, and coming out here today and playing really well. And we need to, from our perspective, being the coach, we got to make sure that we appreciate effort like that. It wasn't perfect. We screwed some things up on offense, but I thought our guys played really hard and played physical, and that very easily could have been a hangover game that you see around the country.
Was the plan to feature the running game like that?
Yeah, it really was. Just felt that we had some matchups that we liked up front. Obviously, Khalid being back makes a big difference for us, as you can see in the games he's played versus the game he didn't play when it comes to running the ball and when it comes to sacks. And so he's one of the leaders of our team, and he really makes everything go up there. So that was a big part of it. And then I thought the 2 backs ran hard and ran well right from the beginning. Unfortunately, put the ball on the ground one time with Curtis. Otherwise, I felt we could have opened the game a little bit more.
Was there something on the game film that you've watched from Cal about the left side of their defensive line that allowed you to pretty much dominate on the running game on the right side?
Yeah, we did run away from 50 a little bit. Put him on the backside. He's a good player in their system, and then move him around over there. And so we did some more schematic things with moving the tight ends to run at certain people and run away from certain people. So I thought our players really responded well, and that's a hard game on the center because of they're extremely multiple, just like the week before. And so he handled it really well. It paid off with the line playing better, and it was good to see our backups go in and do well too. Nate Markwood started at left guard for us, so if you can give up no sacks and almost rush for 300 yards, it's a good day up there.
Can you talk about the decision to start Markowitz and how he played today?
Yeah, just that's the direction that we went, and I thought he did well. Fortunately, he wasn't available last week, or he would have been in there last week as well.
You talked about having playing with style in Los Angeles with the crowd side and everything. Do you like the style that your team played with today, even though it wasn't one of those sort of high-scoring video game-like performances?
I mean, obviously it's not as fun. It's fun winning 50-0, and that doesn't happen every week, unfortunately. And so some games are going to be like this, and we're really seeing change in defenses almost every week that we play. We're seeing a complete game plan about number 9 and number 2, and so that's one of the good things about throwing those guys the ball so much earlier in the year is, people do what they did today, and they spend the whole week trying to take away those 2 guys, and that opens up your running game.
Lane, you talked about this week being a lot of people trying to tear this team apart, this being you had to recover from the disappointment. What was your message to the team and trying to get them to do that?
Just stick together, go back, and everybody gets knocked down. Every team has always lost, at some point in their career, and it's how you respond from that. Do you go back to work and do you practice really well? Like we talked about every day at the end of practice this week, for those of you guys there, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So this was our best week of practice, and I think it showed out there today. And could have even got even more out of hand if we would have nailed it, if we would have hit a couple plays.
Talk about the return of Vidari, what it meant to your offense today.
Well, I think it helps me a lot. Not that it sounds selfish, but as a play caller, to know your kicker's range and to have him back was good. He kicked really well earlier this week, and so it was great to have him back. And he obviously helped us there. The snap before the half was low, made the kick really difficult, and he still made it. So good to have him back.
Walker and Turk split time in the first half. What did you see out of Walker that made you stick with him in the second half?
I thought he was playing really well, and so it's good to see. Anytime you do something like that, you like to see guys respond the right way and not sit around and pout and mope. And Andre had a great week of practice and went on and played better.
You mentioned Walker struggling last week. Was there a reason you mentioned Marcus Martin that you decided to change the starting position?
No, that was not an issue having to do with Marcus's play.
Anything else for Coach?
What are you, going into a bye week, are you happy that this is coming when it is?
Yeah, I think we need it. You know, we're pretty beat up, and so even some guys that are playing aren't 100%, and so it'll be really good to get those guys some rest. And I think this team's a little tired in general. You know, we had a pretty hard camp, and then going on the road the last couple weeks, doing the long trip. They seem tired to me, and so I think this is really good for us to come to this point.
The Pac-12 officials up in the booth said that the call on Pome's block was correct. Would you see it the same way in the field?
Yeah, I'm sure they're right. I mean, they would have a much better view with the replays than I did live.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.